This is a video response to the guys out there that are brainwashed currently as we speak about showing one's feelings and emotions. You are being duped and deceived by the devil. What happens? Someone, for the last and final time, answer me this question. Because I know deep down, within my heart and my mind, no one will. Because they don't have the spiritual discernment to wrap their head around it, unlike myself. What happens when a man shows his feelings and emotions onto a feminine woman? She is going to be repelled, and she's going to go in the complete and utter opposite direction to where her man is going. Why? Because the man is acting feminine and not masculine. I can't stress this enough to you guys out there. You're being deceived by the devil. And is there any wonder why a lot of you are trapped and enslaved within marriages that you're not even attracted to nor wanting in the first place? Because you're acting like a bunch of floozies. You're acting like a bunch of women yourselves. And, this shit has to stop. It is toxic. What happens when people reside within feelings and emotions? Friendships, relationships collapse. They go into liquidation. Why is this? Because feelings and emotions lead to sinful behaviours out of irrational thinking. And this is what feelings and emotions do to people. And to put it frankly, this is why we have the mess that we have within today's society. Because people no longer think logically, they think emotionally. And until they are able to rewire their mind correctly, they are never, and I mean never, going to experience true, authentic, human connection with a realist. Once in a blue moon, and I'm referring, to this metaphor, because it is quite literally once in a blue moon, we so happen to meet another realist that so happens to get us and understand us men. No matter how hard the world even tries to overwhelm, said men with feelings and emotions in the attempt to get a rise or to get a reaction out of us. Stop leaning upon your own understanding. Start enforcing what the gospel actually predicts as well as teaches. And quit being a bunch of girls for men. Feelings and emotions not only lead to sinful behaviours out of irrationality, rather feelings and emotions also lead to femininity, and what's the other word called? Effeminacy, if that's how you pronounce it. And effeminacy within a man is an abomination unto the Lord thy God. This is why I don't follow the worldly narrative like the lost sheep of today's society, being deceived by the devil. Oh, it's okay, for you men to reveal your feelings and emotions. Oh yeah, it's absolutely fine to be an absolute floozy and a lubricated vagina wall in touch with your feelings and emotions. You're going against your masculine frame by displaying feelings and emotions, because you're acting like a bunch of vaginas for one. I've shared so much on this topic already. And I can't stress it enough. People need to start reading the real gospel word rather than following the worldly narrative on what they have been brainwashed and conditioned into believing in. You know you're on the right path when you are really and truly able to royally piss off most of the male species in today's society as we speak. Because they are actually, in fact, intellectually challenging themselves even with the truth that they are hearing, that they don't want to hear because it hurts their feelings and emotions, because they have been programmed to live like a woman. Once again, fellas, if you want a sexually pure, feminine woman to marry later on down the line, you best believe you are going to have to sacrifice as well as shift this ideology of residing within one's feelings and emotions. Because when you are living within feelings and emotions, you are acting irrationally, not logically. Therefore, you are going to lead to your own death and destruction, both spiritually and psychologically. And there is going to be a great collapse within the male species. You need to take your mind cards back and start manning the fuck up. Like I said, if you don't believe me, go to a feminine woman that so happens to be in touch within her femininity even, and pour your feelings and emotions out onto her and see what happens. She's going to be repulsed by you, and she's going to go in the complete and utter opposite direction, might I add, because you're acting weak. You are acting fickle by living within your own feelings and emotions. Feelings and emotions are nothing more than masters of deception, because they lead people into doing things, like I said, from an irrational perspective that will only result in spiritual and psychological death. And this is what many people don't understand. It is feelings and emotions that have really and truly screwed this economy up. And this is why we have the great collapse. This is why statistics are now plummeting within marriages. Because men are being, they're now beginning to wake up from their blue-pilled ways of living. And they're beginning to realise that they have actually, in fact, been duped this entire time. Fellas, for the last and final time, stop leaning upon your own understanding. Study the gospel, apply it within your life, and pray unto God the Father himself for spiritual protection and discernment, in order to not only protect your mind and your heart, but your souls included. Feelings, once again, this goes for women as well. Feelings and emotions are nothing more than masters of deception. Or for you women out there, mistresses, there you go, mistresses of deception, because they lead both sexes into acting irrationally and not logically. Look, I've had my rant. I've said what I've had to say. But like I said to you guys out there, keep on going down this path that you're going down. Keep on following the voice of the world and the lies of the devil, and you will see pretty darn fast that you are being deceived. Because when a man is in touch with his feelings and emotions, he's acting feminine. He is also acting from what's it called? Effeminacy, I believe it's pronounced as, perspective. And for those of you that don't understand what that word means, effeminacy are actually in fact linked to feminine traits. I.e., if a man that sews, or a man that wears, I don't know, say pink garments, or walks within a camp kind of manner, or does girlish things, that right there is an abomination, because he is going against his masculine frame. But yet these dumbasses still don't get it, and they never will, because they lean upon their own understanding rather than the gospel words understanding. You are following a worldly narrative that, to put it frankly, isn't only sabotaging both sexes here, but it is also leading to both sexes' death and destruction, both spiritually and, case in point, psychologically. If you're able to think logically and rationally, that is, not irrationally, if you are able to think logically and rationally, you could save yourself all day, every day, from any said spiritual and psychological attack that is actually in fact enforced upon you in the attempt to dupe you into believing in. This is why, like I said, within today's society so many men are failing, because they are hearkening onto the voice of the woman and not the voice of God. Therefore they are losing their power by acting like a bunch of pussies. And this is why, like I said, I can't be around all that many people, because rather than own up to your own mistakes and hold yourselves accountable and responsible, you have to project. You have to project 24/7 in order to make yourselves feel better. Because once again, going back halfway into this video, people go on feelings and emotions. And if you're living within your feelings and emotions, you see this? You're cutthroat, you're dead. And I don't care who you are. And I don't care who this video royally pisses off, because it is the truth. Some guys are actually in fact going to, take what I have to say, reflect on it and go, do you know what? While, he may have said some nasty words, I actually agree with him, because he is speaking the truth. Whether I want to accept it and believe it, he is speaking the truth. Therefore, I am have to really go to book my ideas up if I want to be a part of his life and a part of his circle. So fellas, for the last and final time, study the gospel. As a matter of fact, I will share biblical scriptures on this video to prove my point. That feelings and emotions, like I said, lead to irrational ways of thinking. And what happens when people think irrationally? They act upon impulse that will only lead to spiritual and psychological death later on. While the impulse may come across as the golden opportunity of a lifetime, people don't think straight. They are unable to spiritually discern whether or not it's genuine, or whether or not it comes with punishments and consequences. And this is why we have the mess that we have within today's society. And is there any wonder why people excessively laugh and joke about it? Because one, Most people haven't even intellectually grown nor evolved and aged like a fine wine. They are living life as though life should be handed down to them on a 24-karat gold platter without them lifting a finger. And these type of people haven't done one hard day's labour within their life, guaranteed. You know you're on the right path, like I said, when your life stops becoming easy and you've got some sort of what's it called? Some sort of sense of urgency in order to quite literally break out of the comfort zones that the world are trying to keep us within, in order to take that leap of faith and shock the world and give them something to talk about for future generations based upon biblical history. At the end of the day, people have free will, men included. If you don't want to hearken on to my voice, lean upon your own understanding. Live within your feelings and emotions, right? Go to a feminine woman that so happens to be within her feminine frame and pour out your feelings and emotions. See what happens. And don't allow the fake nice and the fake good spiritual masks people wear dupe you into believing that they are attracted to it, because I can guarantee any of you watching this video now, it's all an act, it's a front. They're not attracted to it. Guaranteed. If they truly were, then answer me this then, fellas. Why are so many of your relationships breaking down due to infidelity? Common sense really, isn't it? Because she has lost attraction for the guy that is living within his feelings and emotions, and she's moving on to the next sucker, and then the next sucker, and the next sucker. All because you chose to live like a pussy, in touch with your feelings and emotions, by allowing the opposite sex to not only emotionally imprint you, rather to gaslight the living fuck out of your head, up to the point where you quite literally even lost your manlyhood and your masculine frame even. And let me tell you an uncomfortable truth to you guys that are so hell-bent upon your own understanding. These women that actually have filled you into believing that they are the one, right? These women are laughing at your very expense. Oh yeah, you best believe they are. They are laughing at your very expense. Because they don't give a shit about you. And I don't give a shit about your feelings and emotions either, no matter how hard both sexes try to project them onto me. Because I will keep cutting them off one by one, and I will cast them back out into the atmosphere. And I will keep on continuing to bounce back, whether people like me for it or not. It is what it is. And like I said, don't only use spiritual discernment in order to understand the truth for what it really is, rather reflect on it. If you have spiritual discernment, in order to discern truth from lie, fact from fiction, and solid evidence that goes hand in hand with the gospel, in order to back up your claims and your theories, you will always leap 99.9% of people upon the face of the earth that are living like sheep, following this worldly narrative without having a brain cell to actually live and think for themselves. You know, it is what it is, man. And this is why now I'm at that age where, don't get me wrong, I like to be out and about, but I also don't like to be around all that many people, because the world is as weak as piss. It's as weak as piss. It's teaching the guys to be feminine and the women to be masculine. And is there any wonder, like I said, one, statistics are plummeting within marriages, and two, even, more and more men are now walking away because they're beginning to realise that they have been deceived this entire time, and they're taking the manhood back. And it's only going to get worse for you women, not for us men. You know, it is what it is. Suck it up. It's a wrap.